Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Good morning, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve. I, for one, am ready to kiss goodbye 2025. I am ready for it to be over. And I feel light and I feel good. And then I feel excited about 2026. I think there's just enough shifting going on that we're going to see a lot of culture claiming, if you know what I mean. People are going to really step up and claim their American culture because I can just feel it. I see it every day. I'm talking to people and I'm hearing what they're saying about how they're fed up with, the medical model, and they're onto it. They understand the whole thing's been about profit and control. And so that's what's got me kind of excited. I'm not kind of excited. I am excited for 2026. People are taking action towards their health. And when you take action like this, it's going to shape culture. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Plus, I feel like people are understanding their consciousness a little bit better. They're understanding, hey, I have more control over my consciousness than I've been practicing. And I'm excited about like learning more about my capability as artificial intelligence is coming in. I think it's just like a natural growth period that we're going towards. Like, yeah, my creativity is mandatory now. I don't get to just like, sit back and do whatever because it's convenient. Now I really need to tap into my creativity, and I need to, push myself into this higher operations of conduct, day to day, so I can get better results. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but I just feel it. And I feel it because I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you every day. And these are the types of things that you're expressing. So I'm excited about it. I hope you are going to spend New Year's Eve with people you love. And I hope it will be a fun, memorable New Year's Eve for you. We are going to go out to dinner with the kids. And then I think Jason and I are going to catch a comedy show. And that'll probably be it. But it's a great way to bring in the New Year's. We've done this a couple years in a row now. And, comedy show's fun and gets you some laughs and starts the year off right. So I'm excited for it. And I can't wait to get to work and keep shaping culture around health in our fantastic country because we need it, and you're worth it. Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the culture control sphere. Everything still is fraud, 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 fraud. I keep saying that because it's just like annoying me a little bit. This fraud has been going on a long time. I said this yesterday. It's been going on a long time. This is not new. What are you going to do about it? Right? What are you going to do about it? So I feel kind of like, and maybe I'm wrong, okay, but I feel kind of like this whole fraud thing may be leading somewhere. It may be a bit of a look at this, so you don't look at this over here, So I tapped into Candace Owens' Twitter space. Last night, I think it was, maybe the night before last, I tapped into it and I listened to it. I don't know, you guys, like I just not getting the feeling that she's lying. I'm not. Okay. And what is kind of concerning to me is that people's rendition or recount of what she's saying on her show and publicly anywhere is very twisted. Like, I'm listening to her. And so I'm getting it firsthand out of her mouth. And then I'm seeing all these posts rather, online. I'm seeing all these posts with the commentary and, oh, she's a gaslighter. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how you got that from, did we watch the same thing? And so what's really piqued my curiosity is now Alex Jones has entered the chat, and he's anti-Candace and has declared war against Candace. I'm not feeling it. I don't know what Alex is doing because it feels very, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Like, I feel like it's a bit of a performance for some reason with him. I feel like he's performing this narrative that's against her. And I don't know why he would be doing that. It's very curious. So I guess I'm not adding anything really of value to this discussion. Other than, I don't know what is going on there, but I don't think Candace is lying. And I think Alex is up to something. There you have it. My very professional investigative skills on full display. This is about as good as you get these days because who knows what is actually true, right? But I wanted to bring it up because Alex left this kind of, video out a few late last night, I think it was, or mid last night. Where he's saying, there's going to be a huge announcement tomorrow, 11 a.m. This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my 31 years of doing this. And yeah, like whatever Candace is onto, I feel like is going, if she's permitted to get down to the truth of it, and it's real, both, we still don't know, but if she's allowed to move forward, I think it might be devastating information. So, yeah. So anyway, I brought some clips today because I wanted you to hear from her voice, right? This is on Twitter Spaces. I'm not seeing a whole lot of these clips going viral. So I wanted to bring some here because this is just reasonable talk. Am I wrong? This is reasonable talk. Check this out.
That. Okay. And their anger, which I think you guys have seen that last week or whatever, to see people like Ben Shapiro get on stage and pretend they were his friend. You don't know what that does to me spiritually. I just want to fight. I want to physically get into a fight. That is it's just not okay. And there's something that is so grotesque about it at its core. There is something it's almost satanic, right? I look at politics now and it makes me want to vomit. To realize what they turned him into after, they did not view this man as a human being. They did not care about Charlie at all. It was he either was going to get them a check or he wasn't, and that even for me, the ick I get from turning points, that man did not like that man. So what are you doing? Is this really just about who writes you a check and gives they can just buy a friendship with Charlie? It angers me. And I still have to contend with that anger, that upset, and also trying to, let me divert my energy into this investigation and trying to figure it out. So I do ask you guys to just recognize that, to recognize that there's a lot going on. And I will always, if I get something wrong, which is what I was open to doing, like I said to Ian, I was if you want to send me an email and he has the smoking gun proof that he wasn't even a Green Beret, I will run it and I will own it. But that's not the case. And so it just feels petty. If you're going to use your energy, we don't need you finding his exes, man. We really could use your help.
Yeah, I mean, look, professional criminal investigators don't get it right a lot of the times. There's a reason why a lot of cases don't get solved. People don't get indicted. They don't get charged. It's not easy to run an investigation. It's even harder to do it with 1 million people trying to Monday morning quarterback everything that you do and criticize every single thing that you do. So I totally understand coming from that world myself. So look, you're trying to find the truth. I think you've been good about transparent. If you make a mistake, you correct it. And, one of the negatives is you're out there in front of everyone. So people are going to give their opinions, and that's the negative.
Gosh, this is so relatable. I feel this is so relatable to me because once you see the corruption everywhere, I feel this way about the medical model. I just want to fight because there are children right now, still getting injected with poison. There are families that are being torn apart because, unnecessarily somebody has been harmed, medical malpractice, medical error, number 3 cause of death. This stuff doesn't need to happen. And so I totally relate to what she's saying here, the injustice of it. It captures you. And it's just so relatable to me. She, you slime bags, Ben Shapiro didn't get along with Charlie Kirk. Regardless of what you think of Ben Shapiro, what are we doing here? We're playing this little, this is, no, he didn't like him. It's not, who cares what you think about Ben? These two people did not like each other. And now there's this big, I don't like that either. Yeah, I hate that when people it's like they're expecting you to play a role because somebody died. And that's just what are we pretending for? Somebody passes away and all of a sudden, there's nothing but nice things to say. And, I don't know why that's a way that people handle death. And it's particularly slimy in the business world and in politics. So I completely understand. And she knew they weren't friends. And Turning Point USA knew they weren't friends. Why is this guy sliding in here, just even a few days after Charlie Kirk's death and running his show? Yesterday we talked about the pay-to-play model. That's what this is. And it feels like it's a betrayal to do that, right? It'd be like somebody you don't like giving a eulogy at your funeral. Like, yuck, right? That's not authenticity. That's not okay. So I get where she's coming from here. There's a couple other thoughts that she has here as well I want to address. So I want people to start thinking about like how much of our information is controlled by intelligence agencies and influencers. I mean, it's overwhelming. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. It's New Year's Eve. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Check out the very last of our December deals on our flip book at naturallyinspiredstore.com. There's a little tab there that says December deals. This is a monthly flip book that we'll be putting together every month so that you can view all of the deals of the wellness products that we have available. I do have some sad news. Yeah, my favorite collagen is no longer buy one, get one free. I hope you took advantage. I hope you took advantage of it. I know many of you did, but it is no longer buy one, get one free. So that's it for the collagen. But we do have many more products that are still buy one, get one free. And over 30 products that are available for buy one, get one free at naturallyinspiredstore.com. We have aloe, we have minerals, we have so many things. So take advantage of these deals before they go away. If you have any questions, text me 720-303-8868 or just visit naturallyinspiredstore.com. Okay, so let's keep going here with what's going on with Candace, right? Like it's entirely possible that she's being fed bad information. It's entirely possible. She's doing her best. And if you listen to what she says, you can't walk away. Like, I was like kind of embarrassed for Harrison from InfoWars, who was on the Twitter space that I listened to, because he was clearly trying to push her to make an allegation. I could sense it in his tone and the way he was asking questions and kind of pushing for her to make a very clear kind of declaration that could be debunked, if you will. So it just felt weird. And I love the people at InfoWars, and I'm, been a long time follower of Alex Jones and stuff. So like, I just feel like they're up to something. Like maybe there's something that we don't know, that they know. Something's up. I don't know what, but something's up. And maybe it's even kind of a thing to protect Candace, because I know Alex Jones has always been a huge supporter of Candace. And Alex isn't one that I've ever witnessed that has been like fights from afar. If he has disagreement with people, he just like, come on the show. Like, come on the show. Okay. You want to prove, just come on the show. Let's talk about it. And he's not doing that with her. So I don't know what's going on, but my spidey senses says something is going on here. So I don't know if we're going to find out soon or what. But listen, Candace is bringing just some very reasonable questions. And I've said this all along. Let her be. Let her do her investigation, because she's going to reveal things. If it's wrong, it's going to be revealed that it's wrong. If it's right, then it's going to be revealed that it's right. But this is the time for truth. We've never been in a type of situation like we are in now, where people are more accepting of the truth. They want the truth. Like we have an opportunity to have like kind of a fresh start here. The people are going to drive that. The government is not going to drive that. Your politicians, not going to drive that. You are. You are going to drive that. Independent journalism, true independent journalism, is going to drive that. When you consume these types of shows and not the mainstream, that's what's going to drive the change. That's what's going to drive the culture shift that we need so much. So let her do it. The pushing to shut her up, it's not good. All it's doing is creating more suspicion around the official narrative, around any naysayer of hers. Like, you're creating your own storm. Let her do it. That's what I have said all along. And I think we need to continue to let her do it. You know, this person, whoever she, showed up on her show, sounds like a, pretty shady character. Good. Let it unfold. Let it unfold. Here's another clip from this Twitter space. Like, this is just reasonable talk here. Okay. Listen.
Well, thank you. And I think that the thing that upsets, I think, most Americans is the fact that you're doing the job that we expect Turning Point to be doing, right? Like, this was Charlie's organization, and you're the one out here asking the questions, and they're almost seem like they're just content with whatever Fed slop narrative we get, and they're ready to move on and get the party started and go on to the next event and the next whatever. And it makes me feel anyways like that Turning Point and the amount of people that are going after and attacking you for trying to just find answers makes me think that Turning Point's something much bigger, that it feels like it's a giant money laundering operation, that it's a political machine, and that Charlie was just a pawn, right? That he almost didn't even know everything that was going on within his own organization. It got way too big for one man to follow everything. And some shady shit seems like it was going on behind the scenes. And I think there's a lot of key players that were involved in some shady shit that are more, they're incentivized to just kind of sweep this under the rug and buy the Fed slop narrative because they don't want any attention shined on whatever shady shit that they were doing. And I think that's why Charlie was putting Doge together. And I'll end it there.
And I got a really...
I think that's how it happens, right? We talk about infiltration. I mean, name a movement that hasn't been infiltrated. I know Maha was infiltrated. Maha was totally infiltrated. We were united, whether you were like an older hippie, that just liked the health aspect of Bobby Kennedy and all that stuff, or whether you had a vax-injured child, or you were just a Republican that is sick and tired of the pharma model and sick and tired of poison food, right? It united so many different groups of people. And let me tell you, the machine doesn't like that. The best thing we can do is unite on the culture of America, because the machine, the people that are churning up the problems in our country, the influencers that are paid to pump out stories and just stir the pot. The fact that we are not united is the point. That's the point. And that certainly happened in the Maha movement, right? People turned on Bobby Kennedy. There was all this stuff about how, he wasn't doing this. He was captured. It totally worked. And many other movements, right? Look at what's happening to MAGA now, right? MTG, listen, the more spread apart we are, the more power this globalist agenda has. So, like I said, we don't need to attack her for what she's doing. Just let her do it. Like, why are you even paying attention if you hate it? That right there is suspicious. You know, why do you care? If everybody just didn't care, just ignore it. But no, they don't want to ignore it because they're worried about it. People are worried about it. Why are you worried about it? I'm not worried about it. So why are these, powerful influencers so worried about it? It's interesting, right? It's interesting. Investigating is a process for sure. And usually detectives don't have to do it in front of millions of people. So that's the difference here. She's following leads and trying to figure out where this information fits in. Sometimes it leads nowhere. Sometimes, she feels like she has to push it farther. That's what a real investigation is. And, we're kind of on our own these days. I mean, are you happy with the legal system? Are you happy with everybody that's been prosecuted that committed a crime? Yeah? I mean, it hasn't really worked out too well, has it? Especially over, let's say like the 2020 election, January 6th, all of these different events that have happened. And gosh darn it, the legal system didn't really seem to function that well, did it? And it is weird. It is weird, like Tim Dillon said, right? This is strange reaction. A pyrotechnic concert in a glittered pantsuit and a major press junket and taking on the leadership role in a company that ultimately was the reason why your husband's dead. Now, I don't, we're living in a weird world where people respond differently to things. And I understand that. And I'm not judging that. Okay. I'm just seeing this is different. This is a different, I don't know how to wrap my brain around that, but maybe it's just me, I wouldn't know how to wrap my brain around, taking your phone in and videoing your husband's dead body. That seems off to me too, but let's just figure out where this is going. Are we just living in such a weird cultural time that this is now the new normal? I don't know. I don't like it. It's weird, but is it? Is it just the new normal because of how public everybody lives now? I don't know, but it can't stop asking questions about such a bizarre story, right? This little skinny kid gets on top of a roof, does never really, doesn't look like a big gun toter or anything like that, but somehow he just independently pulls off a very public assassination and is cool as cucumber afterwards. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have to go through it with you. You're probably well aware. It just doesn't add up, right? None of it adds up. So we ought to be glad that somebody is asking questions. It's just interesting to figure out, how much of what the information we get, how much of it is controlled by aspiring influencers on the left, on the right. Who is it? The CIA? Is it our intelligence agencies? Who is pumping out this content and for what reason? That's what I'm always thinking of. I had a thought today yesterday, actually, when I was on the treadmill. I was thinking, oh yeah, there was a story quite recently where Benjamin Netanyahu declared Somaliland a independent state of Somalia. Fast forward a couple weeks, now we have, boom, what's on the interwebs of news if it isn't all about Somalia right now? What's the connection there? Little pieces of the puzzle we're all trying to put together. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I'm so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
For the new year on your optimum health journey. Stock up on your wellness products. Buy one, get one free at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you need help, just text me, 720-303-8868. How much of what we're seeing is controlled by our intelligence agencies? We've been talking about that this week. I played you that great video from Ryan Mata yesterday. Just kind of, isn't that just fascinating? You know, they have these platforms where you can bid on putting out content for a specific narrative. Like say, I hate Candace Owens. Okay, it's got to have this thumbnail. It's got to look this way. It's got to say this language. That's why we see so much repetition online. You know, because these people are taking bounties, payment for pumping out very specific narratives, right? It doesn't stop there. Okay. This is another clue, an indication of how captured our information is. Like Alex Jones knocked it out of the park, right? InfoWars. How long has InfoWars been around? He nailed it. It's definitely an information war. Check out this clip from Chase Hughes.
That a Gen Z person might get recruited is, let's just use you as an example. Somebody comes up and says, hey man, I love your podcast. And they say, I have a serious question for you though. Would you consider yourself a patriot? Now I've got you locked into identity. And then I say, well, I have an offer for you, but before I show you anything, I just want you to say yes or no. Would you be willing to entertain the offer? And it might be uncomfortable. Stage one is I show you all of your browsing history, captures from your webcams on all of your phones and computers of you doing the most compromising shit you could ever possibly imagine. And I'd say, I like your podcast. I think you're doing a great job and I want to protect you. I want to keep all this from the public eye. We also want to give you $20,000 a month. So now you feel like you chose all of this. I told you it was going to be stressful and you agreed to it. If you say yes, the reason that you're doing this on your podcast is for your country, because you're not going to call yourself compromised. We have this thing called cognitive dissonance that keeps our brain from thinking I'm a bad person. Even though you're being asked to silence people, not have certain people on the show, leave something out of your podcast, you're telling yourself, and whoever's your handler is telling you this is for the greater good. And you kept Americans safe by doing that. And you'll tell yourself that. And you'll feel good.
Isn't that something, right? So these bigger podcasters that, or maybe journalists, you know, maybe journalists that are covering stories or what have you, they get approached and they say, hey, we think you're doing a great job, right? And then there's this little mechanism of control, and we like to think that, you know, we have some privacy left. I don't think we have any, you guys. I don't think we have any privacy left at all. I think browser history is accessible. I think your microphone on your phone is accessible. I think your car is a data collection device and records and tracks everything. I think we are already really in a surveillance state. It's not acknowledged. You know, it's just not acknowledged. And so I don't know who this Chase Hughes guy is. I mean, he's been floating around now, I would say, for a couple of years, ex-CIA or whatever. take that with what you want. Like, you have to I hate to be conspiratorial, but I feel like since I saw this guy, I'm like, oh, he's got great information. It's very interesting. He's teaching us a lot, but I'm not sure who he works for, I'm not sure who he works for. Coming soon, check out this screenshot that I took for you to view here. So this is a bank in the UK, okay? We've introduced additional checks to protect your account. The following apps have been downloaded from unofficial app stores. Your access to the HSBC UK mobile banking app has been suspended on this device until you've taken action to restore it. So this Bitwarden app, they don't want you using that. So you have to uninstall this app because your bank doesn't approve of the app. And, they'll camouflage this as a way, well, this is not an app that we feel is secure. And if you have this app on your phone, then it may interfere. We can't provide you safety. We can't and security around your banking apps. So we need you to uninstall this app. This is just a mechanism of control, obviously. Right? I mean, we saw this with Apple. Apple's like, oh, we're not going to allow Parler to be downloaded through the App Store. Done. Parler was over. That's how powerful these gatekeepers are, right? And with your banking, pretty powerful, right? Because what are you going to do? Access to your bank account or this app that gives you news, real news? I don't know what that app was per se, but I'm thinking this would be a great mechanism and way to make sure that you don't see things they don't want you to see. You don't engage in things that doesn't advance the globalist agenda. Right? So that's kind of some freaky stuff there. But in addition to that, there's this. Watch this clip.
That the CIA can take over your car's steering at any moment. Yeah, look up Vault 7. These are released CIA documents. If you own an Audi, a BMW, a Jeep, a Ford, or a Honda, your car operates on the QNX system. So be careful what you say in your car. Literally. Anyways, this is my hybrid. And yeah, luckily I don't own one of those. But it does make you think. How many people have died in weird car accidents, right?
That clipped off a little bit early there. So I'll just sum it up for you. So there is a series of documents called Vault 7. Okay, and these were Central Intelligence Agency files released by WikiLeaks. Okay, this was back in 2017. Okay, and what it revealed was basically anything connected can be observed, and anything observed can be influenced, essentially, when it comes to technology. Okay, so I was researching this, and there's just some interesting stuff here that everybody should be aware of. So this is what it revealed was that the CIA has hacking tools. The documents described in this Vault 7 used that the CIA has developed malware and exploits used to hack smartphones, computers, smart TVs, routers, internet-connected devices. These tools can turn devices into listening microphones. They can capture messages before encryption. They can operate without user knowledge. What else? So basically digital privacy there is none. You have to assume there absolutely is none. Okay. So then I started looking into the research behind the vehicles, and this particular technology was used in vehicles. Okay, is used in vehicles. The CIA documents released by WikiLeaks showed that CIA developed tools to hack cars as well, even it wasn't the car itself necessarily, but its operating systems within it. So cars that included Linux, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, which is like all of them now, right? GPS. If you had GPS in your car, it had microphone access to that. Over-the-air update capabilities, meaning they can update your car or disengage your car. These tools compromised operating systems, exploiting connected interfaces, turning microphones into listening devices, and if it runs on a OS and connects to a network, it is a viable surveillance platform. So vehicles became more relevant after Vault 7 as cars became computers on wheels, obviously. So very, very interesting. And then, so it's the QNX. Here are some of the models that were primarily used with this. Automakers with relevant platforms. Tesla, because it has the Linux-based OS, General Motors, OnStar, remember OnStar, embedded Linux systems, Ford Motor Company, Toyota, Volkswagen Group, BMW, Mercedes. This doesn't mean that these were the only ones. Essentially, if you have, if your car had this type of capability, and mainly 2013 and beyond is what it looks like from this rudimentary search that I did, because QNX is a real-time operating system owned by BlackBerry, and it was designed for systems to within the cars, medical devices, industrial controls, aerospace and defense, infotainment systems like video games, screens, navigation, digital instrument clusters, telematics, like it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so, you're very vulnerable to being extorted if need be. If you become valuable, like Chase Hughes was just describing in that clip, then your search history, everything you have like a whole bucket, a bit bucket, and it basically has your digital footprint in it. And so any of that information could be used against you. This feels so un-American, doesn't it? It just feels so incredibly un-American. And yet it's been going on for a long, long time, and it will probably continue to go on as it advances. We've heard people in the tech industry, people like, the WEF characters, the World Economic Forum characters, tell us that, data really isn't yours. It's not yours because it is a collective amount of data, and we need it for programming artificial intelligence and for the greater good of humanity. And we're getting to a point in our own culture where young people don't even have an expectation of privacy. What does a world look like with absolutely no privacy? Ugh, gives me the creeps. Stay tuned. Your naturally inspired moment is next.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Looking to get on your optimum health journey? 2026 is your year. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and book your free assessment with me. When you get into our community, you make a purchase at the Naturally Inspired store. Okay, just make a purchase that automatically gets you into the community. You get my coaching health text line. You get Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops. You get 15% off all your wellness products and so much more. Naturally Inspired is growing, and we're going to be adding some exciting events and lots of wonderful things for support and community as we move through 2026. So get in now. If you have any questions, 720-303-8868 or head on over to the naturallyinspiredstore.com now. Don't forget, we've got a ton of those buy one, get one free products for your wellness arsenal that everybody should have in their home. For the Naturally Inspired moment today, last night we talked on the weekly wellness workshop about goals. We talked about the transformation system. Yes, there is there's a science. There are variables that go into transforming for better outcomes. And, everybody talks about goals, SMART goals. We've all had to do those at jobs we've had and stuff. And they feel like, okay, they don't feel, real. And that's because I think other formulas often focus on the result of a goal. Here's where I want to be. This is my goal. This is my goal. This is my goal. And although the finish line is exciting and it can be the carrot to get you to change and create new habits, it's really not the payoff. The payoff is the transformation process of you. That's the real payoff. Because when you fully go through a transformation process, you don't need things like willpower. You don't have to struggle anymore with your health or with your habits. You just are this person now. You have transformed. You have allowed the time to elapse. You have done the actions repetitively, consistently, in order to transform who you are into the person that you need that can sustain the result that you want. And our culture, we want everything convenient. And we've been promised, falsely promised, that you can get something quick and easy, conveniently. Let me tell you, nothing that valuable is easy. It's just not the way things work. So instead of focusing on the goal, on the outcome, what we should really be focusing on is the transformation process itself. So for today's Naturally Inspired moment, 5 ways to focus on who you are becoming. Because goals are for transformation, not just a destination. Number 1, here's what you do. Instead of focusing, oh, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Those like annoying kids that we used to be. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I feel like a lot of people are like that with their goals. Am I there yet? Am I there yet? Is it, it's not happening fast enough. That can become, deflating because it's like, it's not happening fast enough. So instead of focusing on the outcome, measure habits, not your outcomes. So outcomes fluctuate, right? Even with health especially, you'll make a little bit of progress and then maybe it comes back down and then you make more progress and then it comes back down and then you make more like it's not linear. It's up and down. That's the way the body is. So you have to expect that. So instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on the habits themselves. Okay. Ask, who do I need to become to naturally produce this result? Transformation happens in what you do daily, not what you hope to reach someday. Okay. Number 2, let goals expose your gaps. Goals aren't proof of failure. They're mirrors. When resistance shows up, don't quit. So ask yourself, What belief, skill, or discipline is being refined right now? In the transformation system, we talked about this last night on the weekly wellness workshop. There are parts, there are parts to creating a new habit and keeping the momentum going. And it is really about momentum when you build a system. It's awareness, education. You have to have a vision, you have to have belief, you have to have focus, you have to have immersion, consistent application, and then you teach somebody else. Those are kind of the variables that you need to be tending to truly work through a transformation process. So what belief, skill, or discipline is being refined right now is a good question. So when you feel resistance, like, I'm not doing the work here. Why am I sliding away from what I know I need to be doing? What belief, skill, or discipline is being refined right now? Right? It's screaming to you. Like if you're lacking consistent application. If you're having a hard time being consistent, then what needs to be refined here? Why? Why are you not being consistent? Okay, so dial it in and work on that on the day-to-day instead of focusing on the fact that the finish line isn't complete yet. Number 3, fall in love with repetition. Transformation happens through consistency, not intensity. Anyone can sprint. Very few commit to showing up again tomorrow. Repetition rewires your identity. Repetition is the transformation process over and over again. And it actually is, when you get results and you start feeling, you have more energy, you're moving in the right direction and it because you feel better. You do fall in love with repetition. And when you fall off, because everybody does, we all do, right? When you fall off your path, it's not about, like feeling guilty about the action itself, like, oh, I didn't stick to my plan. I did this. It's not about that anymore. It's like, I set myself back one day. Because it could have been that another block on the pile of repetition, if that makes sense. That's how I see it in my mind, like every day when you're doing your habits, you're doing your things, you're stacking blocks, another one, right? And pretty soon you get to the top and you're like somebody different and you're getting totally different results. So every time you choose something that's away from putting another block on, well, you skipped a block today. You're a little short. That's the way I see it anyway. So you start to fall in love with the repetition because you're like, yeah, I want to get those blocks up. I want to get those reps in. Number 4, track character growth, not just progress. So important. You are changing through this transformation process. So you got to track your character growth, not just, the things that are happening, the progress that's in the physical. Are you becoming more disciplined? Are you more patient? Are you more resilient? Are you more honest with yourself? These traits outlast any number on a scale, any, tangible goal that you're trying to achieve. They will outlast it. You're going to get to the finish line. The only way you don't get to your goal is if you quit. Don't sabotage your success because you're trying to project and predict the way your success should go. Oh, it's got to be this way, And if it's not that way, then you're like, oh, well, it's not going to work anyway. And you throw in the towel. You quit. You've got to expect little dips, little challenges. You've got to expect that. That's part of the growth journey. That's part of the transformation process. So teach what you're learning in real time. Nothing accelerates your transformation like sharing the lessons while you're still in it. So when you teach, you integrate. When you integrate, you become. So important. Share with people what you're doing. Yeah, I've made a new commitment to myself. I'm getting into better shape. I'm going to take my health more seriously. I'm not happy with the state of our medical care in our country. And so I want to avoid it at all costs now. So I'm doing different things. And here's what I've learned. Let me tell you, health is very popular right now. People really want to understand how to take personal responsibility for their health because guess what? Cat's out of the bag. There's a whole lot of fraud going on, right? There's a whole lot of fraud and people know it. And so they're understanding, oh my gosh, it's just us. It's really just us. Like what Candace is doing. She is taking that on herself because she has realized, oh my gosh, these experts, these professionals, these agents, they can't be trusted. If I don't take this on myself, we may never know the truth. She's having her moment in a very public way, but I think we're all having our moment where we've come to understand, oh my gosh, really, I need to be more engaged with what affects me. Because if I'm not, I could be getting lied to and it could actually cause me harm. And I'm here to tell you, yes. Yes. That has been going on in the medical model far too long. And you say, well, there's some great people in the medical system. There's some great people. There's some indoctrinated people that are facilitating this model. That's all they know. That's what they were taught. And so they're out there executing what they've taught, and they don't even realize the harm that is being caused. So it's not about blaming them, And again, I'll say, as I say all the time, emergency medicine, thank goodness for it. It's wonderful. But nobody's being honest with you in that model about your chronic health diseases. They're wanting to medicate you. They're wanting to execute the indoctrination that they got from the establishment. And it turns out that that's a very specific model of medicine, and it's pharmaceutical. And turns out you are capable of healing. You are. Your body is. It's actually the only thing that heals anything is when you create the right circumstances for your body to heal. I think more and more people are understanding we are responsible for this. We are going to have to take the action and show them that we're not going to accept anything less than the truth about our health and our bodies. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We're going into hour 2, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. If you missed the first hour, you got to go back and check it out because we've been talking about just how much of our information is like, who knows who it's coming from? Is it central intelligence? Is it intelligence agency controlled? Is it influencer controlled via, some other group that's paying for influence? Like, we just have no idea anymore where this information is coming from. And then how our information is being weaponized against us, right? Like our cars are data collection devices. Right away when I saw that clip about the cars, I immediately thought about Anne Heche. Do you remember that weirdness? Do you remember that weirdness when her car was like, it appeared to be commandeered, like it was off the rails, and then she crashes. She gets touted out on a stretcher, sits up on the stretcher, like looked like she was trying to get away, and then she dies. That was bizarre. That was truly bizarre. And no, just like sweep it under the rug, So it's absolutely possible under this Vault 7 documentation that was released through WikiLeaks that they do have the technology to, take over someone's vehicle and collect data on people that could be later used in a scenario, say like, oh, we want you to be an influencer, or we want you to say this on your podcast or do this. They can use that information against you. And I think that is done all the time. And it's not something we like to think about. But the evidence is clear here through these documents that this is entirely possible. And so then we have to take that into our consciousness when we are taking in information, when we are following people. It's like, I'm not saying don't follow people, but I'm saying, don't dive in hook, line, and sinker blindly, because we never truly know the backstory. It's hard to tell what's really going on. So we spent the first hour kind of talking about culture control in that regard. And it's just craziness. It's going to unfold even more, it sounds like, in the coming days. So we shall see what happens. Anyway, I want to take this time to do our little moment about American culture, because as you know, I love to do this now. Because there's a lot of people who want you to believe that you don't have a culture, you don't have a right to a culture, you don't have it, right? It's not, America doesn't have a culture. And so every day I want to remind you that there are so many things that make up American culture. And it's actually kind of hard to find stuff that isn't cool. Like, there's a lot of things that we should be really proud of and that define us and who we are as a nation. And because it's New Year's Eve, I wanted to just kind of, roll back the clock on what does New Year's Eve mean in America? Well, of course, there's an entire history about it, and it's cool. So the reason why we celebrate New Year's Eve in this fashion is because our culture signifies the starting of a new year as a reflection of faith. It's about a celebration of freedom, and it's also a celebration of advancement and hope. Okay, so colonial America, this is the way they did it back then. In the 16 and 1700s, New Year's was celebrated with prayer, reflection, and renewal. In early America, New Year's Eve wasn't necessarily a party in the way that we see it now, but it was a spiritual practice. Of course, rooted in Christian tradition. They either did church services or long prayers. It was a time for repentance, and especially important to the Puritans, who viewed the new year as a chance to realign with God's will. There was an emphasis on moral renewal. Okay, so, a road to redemption, stewardship and gratitude. And the idea of starting fresh in America began as spiritual accountability. In the 19th century, community gathering and social order. So as cities grew, New Year's Eve became more social. It became more about community, balls and dances and town events, open houses, traditions where neighbors visited one another, military and civic ceremonies. Newspapers published reflections on the years past and hopes for the future. This era was reinforced really reinforced community bonds and shared values, very American ideals. The rise of the American city and the birth of the spectacle in the late 1800s, early 1900s, urbanization transformed New Year's Eve into a public celebration. This is when Times Square became the epicenter in 1904, when crowds gathered for fireworks and festivities. In 1907, the first ball drop was introduced. Electric light symbolized modern innovation and progress. The countdown reflected America's growing obsession with time, productivity, and forward motion. This is when New Year's Eve became uniquely American, very bold, very public, and very optimistic. And we're still doing that today. Even though We don't agree on a lot. Everybody says, oh, America's so divided, so divided. We've got to stop saying that. We've really got to stop saying that, because we're giving our power away every time we say that for people to come in and capitalize on our division. So that this is just such a great time to just like, can we stick to the basics, right? We all want freedom. Well, I think we found out a lot of people didn't want freedom. But I think more people are understanding what freedom is now. I think, we got a large part of our population got sucked into the nanny state and got used to being dictated to and forgot that they could make their own decisions. But with the lying and the fraud and the craziness that was exposed during COVID, and now later, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't trust these people. And so people are coming back to the realization that, yeah, we actually do need freedom. We do need freedom, because nobody wants to be forced to do anything. So I think we're going to see kind of more unity around the thought of freedom, right? And well, that's a value. That's a very American value. So we can unite on freedom. We can unite on hard work. We can unite on a lot of these things that define America, but we got to start talking about them again. Stop talking about the stuff that divides and start talking about the stuff that unites, right? You've got to even defend the stuff that you don't like. We were talking about this on the weekly wellness workshop last night. Like, that's so American. Like, even if you don't like what somebody is saying, you need to resort to your American values, that you got to protect their right to say it. It's not about your opinion. It's not about you being right. We can unite knowing that it is American to protect their right to say it. Period. In the 1920s, Prohibition era, it was a quiet rebellion here in America. It was about resilience. Even when alcohol was banned, oh, I can imagine Americans still gathered. Parties went on underground because rebellion is part of American culture. New Year's Eve became a subtle act of cultural defiance, celebrating life despite restriction. And another one, radio and TV, a nation united in 1930s through the 60s. Technology reshaped the holiday again when radio broadcasts allowed millions to celebrate together. Television turned New Year's Eve into a shared national moment. Families gathered at home to watch the countdown. America learned to celebrate collectively, even while physically apart. Post-war America, resolutions and self-improvement came in the 1950s to the 1990s. This era introduced a defining American trait, the New Year's resolution, rooted in Protestant self-discipline, focused on health, focused on work ethic, focused on personal responsibility, and less about fate, more about choice. So that is very American, because you can reinvent yourself. I would argue you don't have to wait for New Year's Eve, but it kind of makes it more romantic, don't you think, to do it on New Year's Eve? It's like, I'm starting anew. Modern era, which is, today, 2000s to today, experience, identity, and intention. In today's New Year's Eve blends entertainment and travel, wellness and intention setting, faith-based reflections, family traditions, digital countdowns, and global connection. Yet the core remains unchanged. It's all about hope. It's all about renewal, and it's all about belief in tomorrow. And New Year's Eve reflects America itself because it's forward-looking. It's rooted in faith and freedom. It's shaped by innovation, obsessed with possibility. willing to start and the willingness to start again. It's not just a party, it's a national reset button. And we do it every year. So, we can pack away 2025 and step into 2026 completely re-inspired if we choose to. I think getting re-inspired includes focusing on what unites us. We need it. We are our best protection of one another, the more united we are. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Stay tuned. The news is next.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Visit naturallyinspiredstore.com. Not only do we have all these fantastic deals, buy one, get one free, but we have several protocols available for you. So those are meant to pick your protocol. They have a nice graphic there, like for things like blood sugar, or if you're interested in improving your hair and skin, if you need help with gut health, you can pick your protocol, blood sugar, all different kinds of protocols that we made it as easy as possible. So you could just click on them, and those are my recommendations. You can get them at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions, and I always forget to mention this, all the protocols are free shipping. So when you pick the protocol from the naturallyinspiredstore.com website, all those protocols are free shipping. So it just makes it nice and easy. But if you have any questions at all about a protocol, then text me at 720-303-8868. I'm always happy to guide and make recommendations. Up next, let's get to some news, shall we? I have known about this for quite some time. I used to have a resident veterinarian that would come on my show every week, and we would talk about pet health because pets are so much a part of our family now. And I mean, seriously, people will buy stuff for their pets' health before they buy stuff for their own health. It kind of breaks my heart, but it happens all the time. Like, oh, my dog's sick. I can't really do anything until I can, I wish I could, but I have to pay for my dog or whatever. I hear people talk about this all the time. And I also hear people talking about taking their dog to the vet and how much these bills are. So anyway, I had this veterinarian on my show for quite some time, and Dr. John, rest in peace. And he exposed a lot of this, how these veterinarian clinics and stuff were popping up. And what was happening, if you can believe it, is the same thing with hospital systems. So in our hospital systems, we used to have community hospitals, right, that were independently owned by the community, and doctors had hospital privileges, but it was a community hospital until we started with Obamacare, and the massive insurance companies started buying up these hospital systems. creating these, outside organizations that run and buy up the hospitals and run them, right? So corporatization of community hospitals. And then private equity firms get involved, blah, 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 right? It all goes corporate. But what people don't realize is that's happening in other industries. It's happening in veterinarian. So why are your pet bills so incredibly, ridiculously expensive? Private equity, people. They're buying up these little clinics and turning them into a system, just like they did with community hospitals, urgent cares, and other facilities. They're all owned by the same corporate entity, which is private equity, usually. So that's happening with your vet care. And Tucker Carlson covered it. Watch this.
How many vets are owned by private equity now?
It's like a third to a half, probably.
Wow. Okay, so they've been scooping them up.
Oh, massively.
So they'll go to owners of
mom and pop shops.
Yeah, mom and pops, and and they're doing this with dentists as well, and HVAC, and like basically every small business in America, and they'll buy just a whole bunch of them.
And then they'll just raise the prices.
Does the care get better?
No, the care.
Yeah, the care gets worse and it gets way more expensive. So, back in the day, you could take your dog in and get whatever you needed, teeth cleaned or whatever, something routine. And it would cost maybe, $100 or something like that for an office visit, $50. Well, people are looking at $1,500, $2,000. Oh my gosh, I knew somebody that paid $17,000 on their dog. $17,000 on their dog. I mean, it is out of control. Okay. And just like the medical model, it doesn't need to be this expensive. It doesn't need to be this expensive. Somebody needs to do something about private equity, man, because it is going to ruin small business in our country. I mean, that's an understatement. It's going to ruin housing. It's going to ruin a whole lot of things. And I don't know what the solution is necessarily, but we've got a real problem with private equity because they pump and dump, right? They get into an industry, they pump all this money into it to build it up so that it appears that it's worth a lot more, and then they tank it and destroy it. And we've seen that happen with like Joann's Fabrics, right? Like all these main pretty big chains have gone through this. They pump it up through real estate. They pump it up artificially, and then they drain every dollar out of it. So it doesn't even matter. It's not about the success of the business. The business could be doing fantastic. It's when the private equity decides to pull the plug. And it's very, very, very destructive practice. And it's currently going on in dentistry as well, and so many other places. So if you're wondering why your vet bills are astronomical, you can thank private equity once again, because they are the ones that are really doing the damage here. Pretty crazy. This next story, though, that I want to cover, I want to get this in before we go to break. This is finally somebody else is saying this. I think this is great. Somebody else is saying this because then I don't have to take the heat. I'm always taking the heat, talking about things I shouldn't be talking about. And I'm glad to see other people talking about this stuff. So listen to this friendly pharmacist.
I would never take unless you can convince me otherwise. I'm pharmacist Steve Hofford, and those that want to understand medications, follow us. Here are 3 of the most common medications taken by patients daily that as a pharmacist I don't ever want to take, and a root cause approach that you can use as an alternative. First, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen, naproxen, and Celebrex. These wreak havoc on your gut and cause leaky gut and drive up inflammation long term. Cause kidney issues. Why do you think there's so many dialysis places nowadays? And finally, they destroy cartilage, which leads to lots of knee replacements and hip replacements. So I don't really want to take those. Next, I would avoid PPIs like omeprazole and Nexium at all costs. Yes, these block stomach acid and reduce issues like heartburn, but you need stomach acid to absorb your protein and absorb nutrients like iron, magnesium, and B12. And actually, studies with PPIs show long-term use can actually increase your risk of fractures and cause problems with dementia. And finally, I wouldn't take statins. Statins are good to lower cholesterol, but cholesterol is not the problem. Cholesterol in a bad environment is the problem. And when you take a statin, yes, it lowers cholesterol, but it also lowers your CoQ10 and your vitamin D, can cause muscle aches and pains, and studies show long-term use shows that lowers your sex hormones, increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, and may cause...
Of course, we know now that there's a lot of studies coming out about the correlation between statins, dementia, and Alzheimer's, and things of those chronic, other chronic diseases as well. So I like this because this guy's a pharmacist, right? So he's allowed to say this stuff. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we got done having a really good conversation, and she just said, "Thanks so much for doing this, because it's really hard to get information about health. It's really hard, and I said, yeah, I understand, because there's a lot of risk talking about this stuff, right? There's a lot of risk because this is a mafia. Like, there's a laundry list, of names of naturopathic doctors, people who have stepped outside of the pharmaceutical model, inventors, people who have discovered alternative ways. I hate the word alternative, but real ways, real solutions for health, I guess you could say. And they're no longer with us. They're no longer here. And this is big business. Like, these people, they play, like, these are dangerous paradigm that we're living in our country, with this gangster type of culture that we have. Corporate gangsters is what we have running the world. And, they have a very globalist agenda. They are working towards it every day, just taking up more and more of the market share all the time until, we basically have a megacorp now with these BlackRock, Vanguard type of firms that own everything. They've got their hands in everything. So how do we break out of this? Like, being mindful and purposeful about supporting local in your neighborhood, buying even from small business. Listen, it doesn't even have to be in your neighborhood anymore. Like, everybody's online, right? Support independent people that are truly building a business, from the grassroots up. That's how we shape things into a better model, is with our money, because that's all these people seem to understand. They just want to capture more and more of our money. And I'm happy to see somebody like a pharmacist coming out with this, because I talk about these drugs all the time. And a lot of people just think these drugs are completely benign. It's just a pain reliever, that destroys your cartilage, right? And the ironic thing is, a lot of times we're taking these medications, for pain in our joints, or pain, in our bodies. And the thing that is causing the pain, these poisons are actually making it worse. So pharmaceuticals don't heal, right? They do not heal. They put a Band-Aid on things. They manage your dis-ease. They don't heal. Nutrients heal. The body heals. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
This may be your very last chance to take advantage of some of our buy one, get one free wellness products. We have wonderful enzymes. Yesterday, we talked about enzymes and how important those are, especially if you don't have a gallbladder or you have, trouble with absorption or you have gut issues. Enzymes are a wonderful thing to add to your daily routine. And right now, you can get one free. So you buy one, get one free. We have over 30 wellness products available for you at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Don't forget, when you become a customer of ours with our partnered product line, you automatically get into the Naturally Inspired community. And that means you get access to my health text line. You get the weekly wellness workshops and so much more, 15% off of products. And we've got all kinds of things happening in the Naturally Inspired community. So it's a great way to get support on your optimum health journey. If you have any questions about it, 720-303-8868. It's really me. It's not a chat bot or some kind of automated service. It's really me. So head on over to naturallyinspiredstore.com today and get started in the Naturally Inspired community. In China, it's craziness going on over there. I tried to verify it as best I can, but it's difficult to verify news stories coming out of China, right? Because they're so they don't like their dirty laundry being aired. I'll just say that. So there's kind of an issue going on with the social credit score in China. So you know about the social credit score in China, right? It's a government initiative. It's meant to track trustworthiness in financial, legal, and administrative behavior for individuals, businesses, and government entities. It is not inherently a single nationwide numerical score for everyday behavior. Is it though? It's often depicted in media. So, very careful about what you research about China. It's always seems like it's been put through a fairly strict filter. So this is a social credit score that stores records of what people's behavior. Okay. And there are blacklists. So they even acknowledge that there are blacklists for people who fail to meet legal obligations, this says. Most commonly, those who don't pay court-ordered judgments. But there are reports online, especially right now, that many young people are living on the street displaced because they're not compliant with things like vaccines. They're not compliant with some of the most basic, things like you can get blacklisted for jaywalking, that type of thing, gaming, posts online, right? So it is a kind of a dystopian idea that is happening over there. So it's hard to know, like I said, if it's true or not, but it certainly piqued my attention because it's very important, at this time that we unite. Like I've been saying throughout the show, because this could be a real, like I just told you about all this data that is being collected on everybody. And now imagine this gets, funneled into some sort of social credit score. And maybe some people will be like, oh, that'll never happen. Are there still people out there like that? Probably. I don't want to know them at this point, but there probably are people that are still like that. I think to some degree, we already experienced this, with non-compliance to certain things. We saw very public public personalities that were getting kicked off of pay platforms, right? I mean, just think about where this could go. And it's kind of terrifying, right? So there's some footage on Twitter. I didn't bring it because I couldn't verify it, but there is some footage on X, on Twitter, just young people strewn out all over the streets because of their social credit score. A couple things about it. So there are some surveys that show Chinese students and young people view social credit policies in mixed ways, with both positive and negative opinions in China, indicating it's not uniform, that they feel locked out or oppressed in everyday life. Yeah, because you can't say anything in China. Oh my gosh, it's so stark. The difference is so stark, right? Whenever I try to research anything coming out of China, you just find all this propaganda. So who knows, exactly what's going on over there, really. But it certainly, like I said, piqued my interest, because I feel like we are somewhat, like, social credit scores are very much a thing when we hear about podcasters who, psst, psst, come on over here. We really like your podcast, but also all this, we've got your search history. We're going to expose this, or we're going to use that. But imagine this being applied across the board to everybody. Maybe you're not allowed in certain restaurants without a specific social credit score number. Maybe you don't qualify for, renting a home even, because your social credit score is too low. And tax, when I think about all the things that can be tracked, we all experience this too. Apple, they filed this a long time ago, but there must be some kind of upgrade to a patent that they have for their earpods. So Apple Pods, the earpods, are now being, a patent's been filed that actually tracks your brain waves. And the intention behind it is that it's going to be able to predict your thoughts, predict what you're thinking through these earpods. And there's patents been filed on this. It's not, I covered this a long time ago too. I think it was probably a couple years ago I covered that they were doing that. So brings up the whole, possibility of pre-crime. And then can you be charged for a thought? I feel like we've been primed for this moment because of all the, hate speech, which there's no such thing as hate speech. There's repugnant speech. There's speech you don't like. There's, mean speech, I guess you could say. But hate speech is not a thing. It's not a thing. And that's why it's so important that we reclaim our language around this stuff, because we should have never let that one out of the bag. We should have never let that one out of the bag. It's far too broad. It implies I don't know, being charged for a hate crime. All crime is hateful if you're hurting somebody. We don't need this extra category for crime. And I feel like the acceptance of that into our vocabulary has set us up for pre-crime. Well, if you can think something hateful, now we can charge you for your thoughts, right? Because they're charging people for speech in other countries, right? They're showing up on the doorstep. They're charging people, with words. You're being charged for saying words people don't like. See how crazy we're getting here? Right? This is crazy. This is ridiculous. Nobody was actually hurt in any of these. Words cannot hurt you. They don't hurt you. They may hurt your feelings, but they do not inflict pain upon your biology, right? That's where we step into the crime world. We have to have these definitions. Otherwise, we're just untethered. We're just not tethered to anything. Anything can be turned into anything. If we don't clearly define things, then anything can be turned into anything. I know that it makes your head spin, doesn't it? But do you know what I'm saying? Like, they can turn it into anything. Gosh, it's so freaky. And I think, now more than ever, it's really important that we understand the process of the Chinese social credit score, how that's working over there, how people are being held accountable for things and labeled for things to a point where they can't function in society. Like, how many people, would be kicked out of normal society because of their hate texts, that are probably jokes. I mean, come on. They're probably jokes to their buddies or whatever, but these words are hate speech. Like, this is like a avalanche, especially in America, where people are pretty bold with their language, right? And we're not exactly known for being meek and quiet, right? So I can just imagine the kind of hate speech that's on your phone right now. If you sent a joke to your sister, maybe, maybe you it's crazy. It's crazy. And unfortunately, we're going to have to unite in order to make sure that this doesn't happen, right? Again, going back to the foundations, right, of America, can we unite on freedom? How about you just don't look at my phone? and then you won't feel like you've had a hate crime inflicted upon you because you read some words or what, I don't know. But we need to practice more of that, right? But then we have to model that as well, right? So there's plenty of speech I don't like listening to. Guess what I do? Scroll on, right? Turn it off. I don't buy a ticket there, right? So, but I will happily defend your right to speak, even when I don't like what you're saying. I will happily defend that because that is American. And to not defend somebody else's right to think or write or speak about something is totally un-American. Even when you hate what they're saying, you must support their right to say it if you want to call yourself an American. Stay tuned. Your health topic is up next. We're talking about 5-HTP today.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Today for your health topic, I realized in my assessments with you, a lot of times I make a recommendation for 5-HTP. And many people are like, oh, I've never heard of that. What is that? So it happens to be one of our buy one, get one free products available at the naturallyinspiredstore.com right now. And if you have any questions about it, you can always text me 720-303-8868. But I am going to do a bit of a deep dive into it just because I've had so many questions about it. So what is it? What is 5-HTP? So 5-hydroxytryptophan is a natural amino acid compound your body uses to make serotonin. It's a key neurotransmitter that influences your mood. It influences sleep. It influences appetite, pain perception, and emotional resilience. So it sits between tryptophan and serotonin in the biochemical pathway. Tryptophan to 5-HTP to serotonin to melatonin. So unlike tryptophan, 5-HTP easily crosses the blood-brain barrier, which is why it's often used as a targeted serotonin support. And serotonin is of course, very important because it affects mood stability. It affects your feeling of optimism, right? Anxiety, stress response. If your nervous system is overactive, this could be an issue. Sleep quality. Falling asleep, but not with a drop off drowsiness. That's what I love about 5-HTP. It is very even. You take it. The one that I recommend is a tea. It's a little powder. You put in some hot water. You can sip it like a tea. And, you take it an hour before bed. You don't drop off drowsy. In fact, I've taken it during the day, not for sleep, but just for relaxation. So it's not like a melatonin type of response where you feel drowsy and really take, a drop off in drowsiness. It's very, very stable. And that's why I love it. Like I said, I've taken it during the day. It does help with sleep because it quiets the mind. So, appetite and cravings. It helps with pain sensitivity, the gut-brain communication. So 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. So low serotonin is associated with things like depression and low mood, rumination, right? Where you're going over and over in your mind on different thoughts. Poor sleep, carb and sugar cravings, it can help with that. Migraines, people get relief from using it for migraines. It also can help with PMS symptoms. So how 5-HTP helps, this is what it does. It boosts serotonin production. So it provides the direct precursor your brain needs when tryptophan conversion is sluggish because of stress, because of inflammation, or even nutrient deficiency. It supports your sleep naturally. By increasing serotonin, the body can make more melatonin naturally, improving sleep onset and depth without sedatives or drugs. It also reduces cravings and emotional eating because serotonin helps signal satiety. That's a word we use a lot around here, right? Because people need to understand you need to eat to satiety in order to control appetite. It's not about your willpower, okay? You have a biological mechanism in you that pushes you to eat for survival. It's like your heartbeat. You're never going to override that. So it's not about willpower. It's about understanding how your body works so that you can eat to satiety and then you don't have to be in deprivation. So serotonin helps signal with satiety and emotional regulation, often lowering carb and sugar cravings. It also eases anxiety and an overactive mind. So it helps calm that repetitive thought loop. You ever try to fall asleep, and the more you try to fall asleep, the more thoughts you have, and the more thoughts you have, it keeps you awake. That's the loop that we can get on. And 5-HTP helps calm that. It helps calm the nervous system and hyperreactivity. It may also reduce migraine frequency. There is some research that serotonin dysregulation is a cause of migraine. And so 5-HTP may help with migraines. Because modern life depletes serotonin precursors faster than we can replace them. This is why people use 5-HTP, because common depletion causes chronic stress, burns serotonin, and so much more, really. Poor gut health because of the ultra-processed foods that are so prevalent in our society. Inflammation, right? We're dealing with inflammation from so many different sources, right? It's not just food, but it is exposure to chemicals, it's microplastics, it's blue light, it's toxic soup, right? So good thing is we're resilient, but we do have to use tools often to help us sustain low levels of inflammation. Also, low protein intake can be a cause of depletion. Low vitamin B, magnesium, iron, even blood sugar instability, hormonal shifts like PMS, and increased menopause symptoms. Also overtraining. So, running. There's a whole category of women that are over cardioing. That didn't want to come out right. Just too much cardio, right? Not enough weightlifting and too much cardio. We still are recovering from diet culture. It's been since the 80s, really. And it was really big in the 80s, really big in the 90s. Even it penetrated into the 2000s for sure. So I think now we're starting to recover from a lot of the things that we learned during diet culture. That's the low fat, light foods, salad, wafer, cereal, all those types of things. They've really done a number on our health. So, but I do think we're recovering from that. So even with good nutrition, conversion problems can happen, and they're quite common, which is why supplementing with 5-HTP can be very helpful. So what else do you need to know about it? The one that I have and recommend is the Rest and Rewind. It is buy one, get one free right now. And that's an incredible deal. You can take this in the evening, about an hour before bed. It's a great way to wind down at the end of the day. But if you struggle with anxiety or, just a heightened nervous response and tension in your nervous system, then try taking it throughout the day as well, because it is just one of those things that is just an even thing. Again, it's a great thing to have in your cabinet, right? Your wellness cabinet. When we have stress in our life, I think our culture says, reach for a drink. Reach for, a wind down drink at the end of the day, alcoholic in nature usually, or, it's escapism through other drugs. And I think there's better routines that we can build that don't impact our health in a negative way. And having this type of stuff in your house and knowing what it does, right? Knowing it's a tool at your disposal is a great thing to build up. You should have a wellness cabinet in your house with many tools. And 5-HTP is a wonderful tool to have. I know a practitioner who just absolutely loves 5-HTP for her clients. And, she's had a lot of young clients, I would say, that have struggled with, depression, struggled with anxiety, no kidding. I mean, all of the amount of input that we experience today is constant, right? Input, TikTok, Instagram, all this input. I swear that's a big part of why people are so anxious, is because our brains weren't really designed to take in all of this information in the rapid fire that we take it in at. And so neurotransmitters are trying to keep up. It's like the body's trying to keep up with all of the information that we're exposed to. And just, think about that. Everything you see and process is information that your brain registers and processes. And so just your environment alone, where you're standing, where you're sitting, that's all input as well. Then you got people talking to you on top of that. Then you got what's coming out of your phone on top of that. And what's coming out of your phone is coming out like in 15-second chunks. And it's just rapid fire, one thing after the next. And your brain is having to work on that, all of that, processing that information. And I just don't know that our brains were really designed for this. Now, are we adapting to it? Probably. This is what I call technology brain disorder, right? Technology-induced brain disorder. Like our brains are adapting to this massive input, and our behaviors changed as a result of that. You see it. You see it with less communication skills, less ability to handle confrontation, less ability to understand things like sarcasm, interpersonal communication skills, I feel, are on the decline. And I think one of the reasons is because there's some sort of adaptation to technology happening on the behavioral level. They're like foregoing this set of skills for these other set of skills to be able to, adapt to this massive amount of inputs that's coming from technology. So something like 5-HTP can just help, calm those neurotransmitters and bring a little bit more peace into your life by supporting serotonin levels and so much more, right? So it's kind of one of those things that I really like because it has multiple functions in it. Doesn't just do one thing. And all the good little tools of supplementation that we have are like that, right? They don't just do one thing because they mirror your body. And like I always say, if you're getting one signal, it's not just affecting that one area of the body, because the body doesn't work compartmentalized. If you're getting a signal from your body, you can bet that it's impacting other areas of the body as well. And we don't tend to think about that because we're focused on the signal itself or the symptom. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll be off for a few days, but we'll be back next week. I hope you have a fantastic New Year. See you next week.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.